As you can tell, it's a little bit warm. Actually, more specifically, I get a hot pink-red face when I am worn out. Hi pals, it's me, RT, they them pronouns only. I really feel like this summer is going to be my chill vibe era for YouTube, because I'm just so tired. It has been very full on in my life for a few months and I just need to not anymore. So last week I gave you In Defense of Alex. This week I give you I Diagnose Everybody in Stardew Valley. And just as a quick warning, I will be diagnosing some of the Stardew Valley residents with neurotypicalism. Get a piece of that, neurotypicals. As I have mentioned, I've played this through twice now, but my second playthrough I really skipped so many of these little filler scenes. Did not have the energy, did not give a fuck, to be honest. I was replaying just to re-experience my love story with Alex, thank you. So this is based on what I can remember and the things I did experience in this recent playthrough. And I've also had a couple of little like thoughts from my friends Kenna and Sophie, so thank you very much. But also you were basically on the same track as me, except from a few points which I will get to. Also, another general spoiler, I just kind of think most of the town are autistic. They're all just different brands of autism, love. Reminder, this is all in jest and lightheartedness. Just having some fun. Tell me in the comments if you have any other opinions of diagnoses of any of these characters. So yeah, I'll go through it and I'll like maybe give you some reasons. Give you some reasons for why. My notes are a bit all over the place, so I'm starting off with a really strange choice, but Sandy from the desert. Also, there's some people missing because I still have not experienced Ginger Island, I think, and a few other things and places, so I don't know. But Sandy is going to be my first diagnosis. But Sandy I'm headcanoning as one of our autistics. She there's quite a few characters who come under this sort of umbrella of very obvious special interest, but also pretty autistic in character. Sandy is kind of like an Enid from Wednesday. She's kind of bubbly and sweet, but definitely autistic. She really likes the colour purple as well, I've noticed. So I feel like wearing all one colour tends to be quite an autistic thing, and that is my reason for Sandy's diagnosis today. Next I'll move on to Abigail. I don't know Abigail particularly well. I don't really like her that much. She gets less annoying when you get to know her as well, but still kind of annoying. There's a lot of pick-me energy. There's definitely some neurodivergent weirdness going on with Abigail. What kind? Personally, cannot tell you. Leaning towards autistic, but could definitely be something else going on there. Sebastian, this man. Me and this man. Once I learned how to get him to like me, he's less of a dick, but oh my god, is he so much work. I literally just had an interaction with him the other day in my new playthrough where it's raining and we're at the beach and he's like, I just don't like people. I just get so anxious when there's lots of people. So I think this man is anxious. I think he has general anxiety disorder, and that's my diagnosis for Sebastian today. If you've seen my In Defense of Alex video, you know what my diagnosis is for Alex, but ADHD and dyslexic, maybe a bit autistic, maybe, because I mean, if you look at his grandparents, Evelyn and George give opposite autistic vibes. So I really do think that Alex is probably kind of autistic too, but he's definitely very ADHD, dyslexic energy. You know, he has to do exercise, he has to do physical activity to get the energy of his ADHD out. I find that there's like two versions of ADHDers. The fucking exhausted ones and the ones who have so much energy and they spend a lot of time like in the gym and stuff. I wish that were me, my dude. I wish, but nah. My ADHD just burned my entire body out instead, thanks. Yeah, so like that's my sort of headcanon for him with that. He also has had conversations as you get to know him about being nervous about reading books, feeling like he's really stupid, he didn't really do that great in school, blah blah blah. My personal go-to as a response to him is we all have our strengths. Because I'm not going to tell you you're a genius if you're not a genius. But also there's nothing wrong with not being a genius. Intelligence is an ableist concept. So yeah, and then there's a little section where he is trying to pronounce philosophy. I love him. I love this man. Anyway, I'll move on. Shane. So obviously it's very clear that Shane has substance related issues, which could stem from or be linked to ADHD possibly. I also think he's a bit depressed, you know. I think he's a bit depressed and done with his life. So those are my general diagnostics of Shane. He is one that I'm not a huge fan of, but I know, Sophie, he is your man, so I respect that. Caroline is Abigail's mum, right? Again, there's definitely some neurodivergent weirdness going on. Can't tell you what kind. Again, leaning towards autistic. She, I think both of them have like a colour scheme too, so like purple and green. But Caroline likes her gardening. She likes her tea and those things, I guess. Jury's out at the moment. Definitely something going on. Something going on. When it comes to the kids, I don't really know. They're just kind of like kids, so like I don't really pay attention to them, honestly. Like, I'm befriending them because I have to befriend them in the game for like completionist related things, but like otherwise I don't care. But I'm gonna like put a stab out there and assume based on family stuff, I would definitely say Vincent could possibly have ADHD. And then what's the other one called? Jazz. I think Jazz could be autistic. She's a bit more shy and quiet, which is definitely what I was like as a child. What happened, you may ask? Trauma. I know Clint. I know Clint is not a fan fave. Guys, I don't know what it is. I definitely liked a lot of characters when I played through. And then when I've talked to people and realised that these characters are deeply unpopular for a lot of people. Whoops. I get it. But also, I just think this man is a bit depressed and anxious. Maybe a little bit neurodivergent in other ways, because he's not very good at the whole thing with Emily, you know? Willie, autistic. I think this man is autistic. Literally no reason. I just feel the vibe. I just think this man's autistic. Demetrius, another one that is extremely divisive. Demetrius is autistic. It hit me when him and Robin had an argument about, I think Demetrius didn't buy what she wanted. She asked for vegetables and she meant tomatoes, and he was like, well, tomatoes are a fruit, and they ask you as the farmer what you think. And that's when I realised my answer was also technically tomatoes are a fruit. If that's your answer in that situation, if you also say, well, technically tomatoes are fruit, not a vegetable, please take the rads are. Because, like, to me, that's the whole, like, issue between Demetrius and Robin and Demetrius and Sebastian and, you know, Demetrius's family, generally, from what I know of it, because I don't know all of it, but the issue I see is that he communicates very autistically and nobody else communicates in that same way. And also, this is going to be... I know he has a big fan club, but Sebastian is a bit of a dickhead. And I would also like to just briefly point out, Demetrius is the only black character. And I would like to understand, I would like everybody who finds him very divisive, frustrating. My friend mentioned helicopter parenting. I don't know. Might need to analyse that. you know, I meant to look up helicopter parenting before I did this, so... Oh, over-involved in their child's life, many times in a way to protect their child. It can result in their child lacking independence, having poor decision-making and coping skills. Well, this swiftly links into, I think Morrow's autistic. And even without helicopter parenting, I relate to lacking independence, having poor decision-making and coping skills. So, maybe Demetrius is a very traumatized autistic man who's trying to protect his daughter because he was a black autistic man dealing with a lot of bullshit, and he's also got a black autistic child who is a daughter and knows there'll be a lot of shit for her, you know, lads, do you see where I'm going? You know? Save the resentment for Pam, maybe. Like, you know, suspicious of you lot. I was watching one of the streamers that I kind of watch occasionally when my favourite streamers haven't streamed in a while, or enough recently for me. They were talking about the same thing, about how they hated him and he was awful. I'm like, he's just an autistic black man. I don't get it. What do you mean? Why do you hate this man so much? So those are my opinions on the whole Demetrius saga. And to my friends watching this who may have the same opinion, I say this lovingly because I don't get it. I think he's really nice, actually. I quite like him. He's a bit weird, but like, that's why I like him. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I think Maru is also autistic because her father is. And they're both kind of like special interest science people. I haven't really been that invested in her plotline, to be honest. Like, sorry. Also, she sits with Penny, and I don't like Penny. Sorry. So yeah, those are my Demetrius hot takes. Wizard, autistic. This man lives alone in the woods. Nobody knows anything about him. A little bit weird, you know, because he's a fucking wizard. He has a very, you know, eccentric get-up. Autistic. Elliot. Also cannot pinpoint him. Leaning towards autism, but could be someone else. He's definitely very eccentric. Very eccentric writerly. But like, I can't work out what neurodivergence that equals to me. But he is almost always happy to accept any gift. And I appreciate that in a Stardew Valley character, because damn, some of you are fucking rude. Some of them are so rude, so mean, but he was like, wow, thanks, this is amazing, marvellous, marvellous. I think he's autistic. Here we are, on to our chef's kiss. Emily, autistic. Manic pixie dream girl vibes. She loves crystals. She likes to make clothes, probably because she can't deal with the horrific sensory issues of buying clothes. You know, absolute vibe, energy vibe. I couldn't decide on her sister though. Another one, you don't really like her when you first get to know her, but as you get to know her, she's a bit nicer. So like, I think probably another autistic one, to be honest. Comes off in a certain way, different when you get to know, which is how I describe myself, honestly. Most people think this when they initially meet me, and as they get to know me, they feel this way instead, usually positive. And I just want to recap Evelyn and George. Yeah, I do think they're autistic, but I feel like, yeah, Evelyn's a sort of like sweet, typical like, what, probably a boomer, right? Boomer or autistic woman, you know? And George is definitely very like typical boomer autistic man, because he reminds me of my granddad. Specifically with George, yeah, I also relate to him so much, as well as I talked about in my In Defense of Alex video, because this man is so grumpy, and I absolutely get it. People are really annoying. People touch his fucking wheelchair. I learned, apparently, he sleeps in his wheelchair. That's law. Pardon? That's Stardew Valley law. What do you mean he sleeps in his wheelchair? If you look at the house, Alex is given the biggest bedroom with a double bed, which is fair, valid, you know, like grandchild of child that died, you know? And thanks to his mum, they really want to make him feel loved, blah, blah, blah. The only other bedroom has one small single bed. So like, no wonder why George is so angry. You're making him sit in his wheelchair literally 24 fucking 7. What's wrong with you? Who just... anybody know the Stardew Valley game devs? Can you like give me a ring, please? I need to talk to you. I need to have a conversation with you about George. Thanks very much. Further conversation about George is that there is actually a really nice scene until George gets a bit like internalized ableist, and I didn't like it. It's when Penny pushes his wheelchair out the way of the mailbox, and he's like, don't fucking touch my chair, and she's like, what do you mean? I'm just trying to help you. And then I stepped in and said, well, you should ask first. And then he goes, oh, no, it's fine, I'm just grumpy. And it's like, no, George, stand your fucking ground. Anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a George rant. Maybe I need to do an In Defense of George. I'm probably going to do an In Defense of Demetrius at some point too, so let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Robin is definitely allistic. I don't think she's autistic, but I don't know what's going on, you know? Definitely allistic. Not necessarily neurotypical, you know? We've narrowed it down. It's definitely not autism. It could be anything else though, you know? Sam, my skater boy boyfriend, ADHD. Like, smacks you in the face. Harvey, another contentious one. But I do have friends who he is their main choice. I quite like Harvey. I understand why people might not like Harvey, particularly if you're not romancing him. Same issue with Clint, I guess. If you're not romancing Emily. Like, Harvey ends up with Maru, and there's like, 1, an age gap. 2, he's her boss, you know, so I do get it. But I feel like it's different if you're romancing him, which I have not. But you know, that bit doesn't happen. I don't know about the other weirdness. But I think he has a bit of PTSD. Like, he lost a patient and it kind of changed his whole life. So I think he's got some PTSD, or at least like maybe like a C PTSD. You know, like being a doctor is traumatizing. being a patient is more traumatizing, but there we go. Jody. This woman, I cannot... God, these women. Some of these characters make me very angry, and for some reason Jody is one of them. Again, communication with her family sucks. And also the way she responds. She hates 90% of gifts. Like, even the ones that most people like. She's like, oh, what's this? And you're like, okay. You could have just, like, said thanks but no thanks. So I am diagnosing Jody as neurotypical. I've had enough of you. Go away with your pancakes. And then obviously we have Ken. PTSD, a very obvious one. But I mean, who knows? Maybe he's got some ADHD in there too. That's why his kids are ADHD. I also really like Ken, even though he keeps sending me bombs in the mail. Sounds worse than the reality of the game, but you know. Kent, please stop. We're gonna get arrested. My ribs hurt. Hold on, I got to adjust my ribs. Linus, autistic, really likes his alternative way of living, which I appreciate. Doesn't understand the cultural... There's so many characters, I'm not done, I'm so tired. He doesn't get the social norms and rules, you know, like he literally teaches you can rummage in bins and everyone else gets pissed off if they catch you doing that. Whereas he's just like, yeah, just like rummage in the bins. Free stuff. And you're like, alright then, mate. Marnie. I feel like Marnie has to be neurotypical. Sorry. Marnie was one of my first friends in my first playthrough. But in my second playthrough, I find her like one of the most frustrating characters. Why is your shop open the weirdest fucking hours? Only a thing a neurotypical would do. Why is your shop open on the weirdest days and hours? Marnie, what are you doing? Please stop. Of course we have Pam. Again, another person with a substance use issue, addiction, alcoholism, something like that. Is it ADHD? Not really sure, because again, another character that I don't really talk to that much. Like, it's terrible, but I've talked about this with a few of my other friends who play this game. You know, we spend most of our time just giving her alcohol. I also do this to Shane. To be fair, I didn't know. I didn't know at first. Second playthrough, I have no excuse, but you know, I've not really been that invested in what's going on. Because I don't like Penny, as I've said already. Oh, that rhymed. I learned a bit more when I had the option of buying them a house. And I think when I was trying to do more completionist things in my first playthrough, where I was befriending... Was that door open again? Mental illness. You jump scared me last week. Didn't get me this time. So yeah, like once I had to like befriend Penny a bit more and make more of an effort just to try and get closer to completionist, I still didn't like Penny. But then I also learned I don't like her mother either, so plot lines I don't have much interest in. I headcanon Penny as neurotypical because fucking hell. Where do I start? I do not trust her. Do not trust that woman. She's walking around with these kids all day, every day, apparently teaching them. Don't believe you. You're trying to get them involved in your conservative cult. You know, the only things she likes are really expensive jewels. Neurotypical. On that note, Pierre, neurotypical. Money hungry man. Except I like him more than Penny. He's a bit of a scowl artist, but like I like him more. Got more of a personality, you know? The few people I haven't mentioned are Gunther, because he's just the dude behind the counter. Gus, Leah, And who's that guy? Who's the weapons guy? I don't remember. Also, my friend did diagnose Krobus for me. My friend diagnosed Krobus as undiagnosed autistic with severe sensory issues. Valid. Absolutely valid. Right, going through the list. Dwarf, I haven't diagnosed him, but I haven't seen him in my recent Let's Play. Why can't I get to know Gunther? Give me more options to befriend Gunther. Also Gus, I swear, like, there's nothing you can do with or for Gus a lot of the time. Oh, here he is. Marlon? Since when was his name Marlon? It's the ADHD hitting here. I did not... Who's that? Is his name really Marlon? Say my name, say my name. Yeah, I don't know, these last few people I'm not sure. Leah is like fine. She's a little bit of a weird little artist. But I don't know what the I don't know what the vibe is. I don't know what the neuro I don't know what the neurotype is. No thoughts. Just vibes. She does not fit the diagnostic criteria. And like I said, I think I want to be friends with Gus. I want to befriend Gus more. But this man literally is just like in the pub 24/7. I know he owns it and he lives in there, but like that's why I'm concerned. Gus, do you go outside? Are you locked in there? Do you need help? So yeah, that is my personal list so far. Just casually forgot the mayor, that's all. As I said, do share in the comments what your thoughts are on, well, what I've been saying in this video, but also definitely fill me in on what you think about the other characters that I just haven't got like a vibe for yet. Please give me the diagnosis. I would love to know. Don't forget to like the video as well and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me. And yeah, like I said, this summer is just going to be me talking shit about Stardew Valley, probably Gilmore Girls. I might as well say this here, but I did start writing a Gilmore Girls fanfic. I haven't written fanfiction in 6 years, at least. And I did that for uni. I did that for university. It really was. It genuinely was a marked piece of work. So, you know, if you're also a Gilmore girly, especially if you ship Jess and Dean, maybe a bit of Paris and Rory, because I just don't like Rory. I just don't like her. Sorry. But also definitely like Lane is gonna get some good like spotlight. She deserved more in that show. You know, if that's your vibe, subscribe. Oh, that rhymed too. Mood. I am a poet. I need to lay down. I'm especially weird today. We good? We good to stop. That's my channel. That's my video for this week. Check out my depops to buy art off me, or my coffee if you want to support me and give me a tip or whatever. And then what am I doing? Don't know. I'll see you next week. Bye.